Hey, shalom, shalom. We're about to get started here in a quick second. Got any questions or comments? Put them in the chat. Got any questions or comments? Put them in the chat. We're going to get started in about 1 or 2 minutes. So it won't take too long at all. We'll get into it. Put all your questions and comments in the chat. Shalom, shalom. What's going on Facebook, YouTube? What's going on TikTok? Let's get it in. Let's do what we came to do. I'll take that. We'll give everybody about another minute or so, and then we're going to get right into it. Shalom, shalom. Shalom. Let me go get my tablet and we're going to get started. Put all your questions and comments in the chat. When I get back, give me about 20 seconds. When I get back in 20 seconds, we're about to rock it out. Hey, hey, what's going on? Oh, causing commotion. All right, let's clap it up. Most High in Christ. We are the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West 125th Street, out of Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. We teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible, history, and archaeology, and of course, anything else you may need for your understanding. Today, we are getting into Acts chapter 10. Acts chapter 10. Why is Acts chapter 10 so heavy? Well, it's regarded as what Christians will tell you the first sign or evidence of a Gentile being accepted in or grafted in. And to a certain extent, that is true. But what they don't tell you is that man was an Israelite by blood. He was an Israelite by nation. You understand? So we're gonna get into it. Any questions or comments you got? Put it in the chat. We're gonna rock it out. Let's get it. All right. So here we go. So let's get to Acts chapter 10. That's the best way to start this thing out. Start out with Acts chapter 10. But I do want to do one thing before we get to Acts chapter 10. I will admit. Forgive me for this. We got to do this. Before we can get to Acts chapter 10, we got to get the understanding of the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? How does the Bible tell you to learn the Bible? Does the Bible say read it straight through and thou shalt gain understanding? Or does the Bible give us a certain way of how to understand these scriptures? So that's what we want to do. Learn how to understand these scriptures, man. And that's what we're about to do now. So we're going to go to Acts chapter 10. But before we go there, let's go to, give me 1 second. Again, if anybody got any questions or comments, put them in the chat. So before we go to Acts chapter 10, let's go to Psalms. We're going to go to Psalms, the book of Psalms. Follow along with me because it's the only way this is going to make sense. All right. Psalms, we want Psalms 119. Let me see. Psalms 119 and 104. What the book of Psalms 119 and 104. And it reads, this is the book of Psalms 119 and 104. Through thy precepts, I get understanding. You hear that? The Bible says, through thy precepts, I get understanding. How do I understand the Bible? I go through the precepts. You understand? Am I reading in line every, chapter upon chapter and all that? No, you can do that. But I would only recommend doing that once you understand how to read it precept upon precept. You understand? Then and only then is how chapters make sense. So it says, through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore, I hate every false way. And that's what it is. In the UPK, we do hate every false way. Again, it's for educational purposes only. Why do we hate every false way? Because we understand the precepts. We understand how to read the scriptures. We understand the storyline that's being told through the Bible. You understand? So now, we understand that Psalms 119 says, through thy precepts, I get understanding. So we get understanding through the precepts. Now, let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 28, the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 9. The book of Isaiah 28, verse 9. Again, like, share, and subscribe to the page if y'all could. Even if you come in, like, share, and subscribe, and then keep it pushing. I'm good with that. Of course, I want y'all to stay and get this knowledge. But if you can only come in here, like, share, and subscribe, I'd be more than appreciative. I thank y'all for that. Thank you for rocking out with me. Greatly appreciate it. So Isaiah 28, verse 9. It reads, whom shall he teach knowledge? And it has a question mark at the end of it. So it's letting you know it's a question. Who is he going to teach this knowledge to? The knowledge of what? The knowledge of God, the knowledge of the Bible, the true understanding, the true doctrine. Whom shall he teach knowledge? Right? It's lucky. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? So now we want to know who's going to understand the doctrine of God. Now listen to this. Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. How are you weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast? Well, that's something that a baby goes through. That's why it likens it to that process, because that's what a baby goes through. And that's needed if you want to actually serve the Most High in Christ. If you really want to serve God, you got to come to him as a pup, as a babe. You understand? You can't come to him as the 20, 30, 40, 50-year-old person saying, I know everything and I understand everything. That's not how this works. You understand? Good Lord. All right, too bad I don't know how to. Good Lord. Most High in Christ. So yeah, that's who he's going to teach this knowledge to. Those that are weaned. Lord, why are you here? Again, that's who he's going to teach the knowledge to. Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. Meaning you have to go through that process. You can't just come into this as thinking you're an adult, so I know this, I know that. No, you come to him as a baby. A baby, you can teach a baby anything. A baby, nothing is impossible for a baby to learn. Why? Because they know nothing and everything is possible to learn. And that's how you need to come to the Most High God, understanding that you know nothing. And when you come to the Most High God, understanding that you know nothing, that's when you can learn everything. That's how God tells us. So we understand through the precepts is how we get understanding. And the only people that's going to get that understanding through the precepts is those that come to him as a babe, meaning I know nothing and I'm ready to learn everything. Now listen to this. So them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. Verse 10, Isaiah 28, verse 10. For precept must be upon precept. See, there it is again. We just read that in the book of Psalms. Now it's confirming it. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. To understand what it's saying, listen to this. Here a little and there a little. That's what it's speaking on. You read here a little and there a little. That's how you get the understanding. Meaning, like I said, you can read a chapter, but if you don't understand how to read it precept upon precept, then you're not going to understand these scriptures. That's just the reality. So now that we got the understanding of that, We understand how God speaks through this, through the word. Let's go to Acts chapter 10. Let's get into it. And again, anybody that has any questions or comments, put them in the chat. We're going to get straight to it. Again, if you could like, share, and subscribe, be greatly appreciated. Your like, share, and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. So let's see. Acts chapter 10. Give y'all a second to get there. That's in the New Testament. That is the chapter of Cornelius. Cornelius, Acts chapter 10. All right. Here we go. All right, so this is the book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 1. And it reads, there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band. So now we know he was a centurion. What is a centurion? We got to answer that question, right? So I've looked up the definition, and you can look it up too. A centurion in the Roman army was a military officer in ancient Rome. He usually ran a pack of men between 80 and 100 people. They were all men, 80 to 100 people. That's why he was called a centurion. He was the leader of them. So that's what Cornelius, that was his job. Does that tell us his nationality? Not at all. Not at all. But it does tell us that is his job. Now, there's a lot of historians that'll tell you, when you look into the ancient Rome military, a lot of the people that joined them, a handful were Romans by bloodline. Well, I ain't gonna say by bloodline, but they were essentially of the family of Rome. We'll say that. But most Romans were not actual Romans. I mean, it's just like America. Look at America. Most people in the American army, you can have Asians, you can have blacks, you can have whites, you can have East Indians, you can have Arabs. All these people can be in the American army, but they'll still be called American. So looking at an American army and saying, oh, yeah, he got to be a certain race because he's in the American army is the exact same way of looking at ancient Rome and its army, saying he has to be the exact same race because he's in that ancient Rome army. It's the same thing. We know in America, you could be any nationality in this army. It was the exact same thing in ancient Rome. So we cleared that up. We understand that centurion is his job title. It's not his nationality. And it says a band called the Italian band. The Italian band essentially is where they were located. Essentially, the Italian band was essentially centered and did their work and their due diligence in Italy. That's where they were. But does that mean that's who they are? Not at all. It's no different than being in the American army and being deployed to Africa or deployed to the Middle East or deployed to Asia or wherever you're deployed to. That does not mean that's where you're from. That's where you work at. That's where you're deployed to. It's the exact same thing. So this is just, so when we read this Acts 10:1, all that does is give us his name. It gives us his name. Actually, it gives us where he's from, Caesarea, which is actually in Israel. It gives us where he's from. It gives us his name. It gives us his job title, and it gives us where he works. That's what we know from the very first verse. That's it, though. We don't understand. As of now, we don't have his nationality. You understand? Yeah. Yeah, I'm charging. What's up? What? You want a charger?
No, it's a black charger.
What about?
Just hers.
Oh, get it. So that's verse 1. Now let's read verse 2. Let's see if we can get more out of it. So Acts chapter 10, verse 2, it reads, a devout man and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always. Now, for anyone that understands the scriptures, it just told you his nationality. I don't know what tribe he's from, but I do know he's an Israelite. How do I know this? Because a devout man in the scriptures, in the Bible, is only an Israelite. Listen again. A devout man in the Bible, a devout man in the Bible is only an Israelite. Check it out. Now we're about to get precepts to understand that. So let's go to Acts 22. Let's go to Acts 22, verse 12. Again, if you got any questions or comments, you don't understand, or you're not following along, feel free to put it in the chat. Acts 22, verse 12. It reads, and one Ananias, a devout man, according to the law. See, he's a devout man according to the law. That's the same thing spoken of Cornelius, according to the law. What law? The laws of God. Who were the laws of God given to? The laws of God were given to the children of Israel. A devout man according to the law, having good report of all the Jews which dwelt there. See, it's a good report among all the Jews that which dwelt there. Meaning these are all Israelites. These are all Jews. These are all Israelites. Y'all got to remember the Bible is the history book of the children of God. And it even tells till this day, this very day, where they are and who they are. It's all the information is in here. But this is a history book. This has nothing to do with a religion. You understand? This is a history book. So therefore, we got to respect it as such and understand it's giving us a history of a people and how they essentially dealt with other nations, because in our history, we have dealt with other nations. But at the end of the day, you only hear those nations when they're dealing with us. You don't hear those nations when they're just doing whatever they're doing. It's like the history of the children of Israel, the children of Rome, the children of China, the children. No, it only gives you the history of the children of Israel and anybody of any other nation that was dealing with them. So you have to understand, we're only talking about the children of Israel, no matter what you see. Let's keep it going though. So it says, Acts 20, I'll read it again, Acts 22, verse 12. And one Ananias, a devout man, according to the law, meaning he kept the laws of God. Same thing with Cornelius. He kept the laws of God, but you got to remember this. A devout man according to the law, but what does it say in Romans? Let's get the precept. Romans chapter 9, what does it say? Romans chapter 9, starting at verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. This is Paul, the same Paul that wrote that, the same Paul right here. Who are Israelites? Verse 4. Who are Israelites? To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenant and the giving of the law. And the giving of the law, meaning what? God only gave this law to Israelites. So who knows how to be devout in keeping that law? Israelites. That's the only nation that knows how to keep that law the way it's supposed to be kept. Israelites. That's the only nation of people that can be devout. Israelites. How do I know? Because of Romans 9, who says, who are Israelites? To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law, right? And the service of God and the promises, verse 5, who are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came, who is over all. Christ did come for those concerning the flesh. Israelites, it's a bloodline. This is a heritage. This is a nation of people. These are kinfolks, meaning we all going to the same barbecue. We all are the same nationality. This was never about a religion. The Bible's never been about a religion. It's always been a history book. Now, let's get one more precept to understand that, because I'm telling you, in Romans chapter 9 is telling you that the giving of the law was only to the Israelites. Now, let's solidify that. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Psalms 147, verse 19. Look at this. It's the book of Psalms 147, verse 19. You can't get around these scriptures. He makes it very clear. This is the book of Psalms 147, verse 19. It reads, He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. So we understand he showed his word, which is, guess what's a part of the word? His law. So he showed his law unto Jacob his judgments and his Salaki, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. So Jacob and Israel is interchangeable. Why? Because Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And Israel are the people that come from Jacob. So Jacob and Israel are interchangeable. That's very simple. So anything that descends from Jacob or that's a part of Jacob's bloodline, that's who the law was given to. So it reads, verse 19, he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Look at verse 20. This is where you got to pay attention. Verse 20, he hath not dealt so with any nation, and for his judgments, they have not known them. He's literally saying, in one instance, I gave my word, my law unto Jacob and his children, the Israelites. But not only that, he's also telling us that no other nation has ever had his laws and his statutes or his judgments. They have not known them. So if you don't know them, how can you be devout in something you don't know? I can't be devout in being Chinese because I don't know nothing about it. I can't be devout in being Russian. I don't know nothing about it. It's not my bloodline. Hey, you see, we in America and most black folks can't be devout in being American because it just ain't natural to us. Hold on, here I come. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, TikTok. I'll be right back. Why are you up there? You down there. You want another piece? All right. Oh, yeah, we back. We back. Don't worry. We back. On side Christ. All right. If you got any questions or comments, put them in the chat. So again, Psalms 147 is letting us know the only people that got this law was the children of Israel. Not only are they the only people that got the law, the Lord has not dealt with any other nation dealing with the law, dealing with the understanding of his word. So not only do they not have the law, they don't have the understanding of his word. From Genesis to Revelation, no other nation has the right to even speak on God's word. You have to be a bloodline descendant of Israel that's keeping the law, statutes, commandments. That's the only way this works, according to God, not me, God. Now let's get back to Acts 10. So this is how we know who he is. When it says a devout man, it's telling you, oh, that's an Israelite. Let's get one more. Acts chapter 2, verse 5. So Acts 2, verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. So not only do we show you that the only people that can be devout are Israelites because they were only given the law, here in Acts 2 and 5 is telling you that Jews were the devout men out of every nation. Meaning you could go to any nation and there's a small part of that nation that's keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and they were Jews. That's what this means to be a devout man. A devout man, by biblical definition, is an Israelite keeping the law righteously. It's very simple. That's a devout man. So now let's get back to Acts chapter 10. I mean, you really ain't got to go no further. That cleared it up right there. Okay. So, Acts chapter 10, verse 2. A devout man and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always. meaning he had a pretty good job. And guess what? With that, he gave alms to the Israelites in need. He did that. Verse 3, he saw in a vision evidently about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of God coming into him and saying unto him, Cornelius. So we're going to skip down for time's sake. Their house, tomorrow, journey, became very hungry. Right. So let's get down to verse 10. Acts chapter 10, verse 10. And again, if anybody got any questions or comments, put them in the chat. Rock it out. Here we go. Acts 10 and 10. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, fell into a trance. So essentially, Peter fell into a trance. Peter was one of the leaders of Israel at this time, one of the top dogs. Verse 11. And saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners. Now, to understand Peter's vision, this is the first thing you got to understand right here. It's the first thing you got to understand. Knit at the four corners. Why did he use four corners? Well, let's get it. Let's go. Isaiah 11. Verse 12. Isaiah 11, verse 12. And this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcast of Israel. Right? Set up an ensign for the nation. And why are you doing that? To assemble the outcast of Israel. And listen to this, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. That's what the four corners represent, the four corners of the earth, because we are in every nation. See, what a lot of Christians don't understand is within the nation of Israel, if you ever had to be thrown out the land of Israel, which in the law happened often, if you ever had to be thrown out the land of Israel, you were never accepted back in. You understand? You were considered an outcast, a Gentile, a heathen. You were considered just like the people you had to go live amongst now, because you weren't living amongst us. So therefore, you're not keeping our laws. It's just like if America was Israel, right? And anytime anybody left America, we said, okay, well, you can't come back here. You must stay wherever you're going or go anywhere but here. Guess what? They're no longer American. They're Russian or they're Asian. And guess what? With them living over there, they're not keeping American laws. They're keeping the Russian laws. They're keeping the Asian laws. So therefore, we can't accept them back over here because they're not going to live according to how we want to live. They're going to live according to how they live over there because that's what they're grown accustomed to. What the purpose of Christ is now all those people that was excommunicated out of Israel, now it's time to go get them and bring them back. Why? Because even the people in Israel weren't obeying God the righteous way. So it's like, well, what good is that? I might as well go get everybody now because whether you live in Israel or you outside of Israel, all of y'all just as bad. All of y'all disobeying just in the same amount. So therefore, that's the purpose of Christ. And that's what Cornelius represents. So that's what the four corners represent. Let me get Amos 9 and 9. Awesome. Shut up. I'm not going to tell you. Shut up. Shut up. Be quiet. I feel like over here I'm whooping the ass. Let's get it. So Amos 9 and 9. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations. There goes that represents the four corners, all nations, the four corners of the nations. I will sift it, the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in the sieve. Essentially, what that means is, you understand, you got that corn, check it out, and everything that don't matter will come to the bottom, and then guess what will be up top waiting on you? The corn, all the good stuff, or Israel. But guess what? At the bottom, ain't nothing but the other nations. This is again the Lord showing he has favor for Israel and none else. I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in the sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. See? Let's get Deuteronomy 28. Trying to give y'all some context on this. Deuteronomy 28, 64. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. And it shall come to pass that the Lord rejoiced over Deuteronomy 28, 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. There it is again. We're going to be all across the globe, four corners of the earth, from the one end of the earth to the other, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So there it is again, letting you know we're going to be sent to everywhere, from one end of the earth to the other. And we're going to serve other gods, which is why we're in the Christianity and Islamic faith and everything else, 5%ers, all that. But this goes to show you what that four corners represents. Let's get back to Acts. All right, Acts chapter 10. Where we at? Verse 11. So, and saw heaven open and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth. Verse 12, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. What does that represent? Excuse me. What does that, the beast of the earth or the beast of the field, what does that represent? Well, let's go get it. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 12. Jeremiah 12, let's get 8 and 9. Jeremiah 12, 8. My heritage, we know that's the children of Israel, is unto me as a lion in the forest. So he's comparing us to a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me, therefore have I hated it. Verse 9, my heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. So now he's comparing us to what? A speckled bird. First we were compared to a lion, now a speckled bird. Remember, it said the fowls of the air, the beasts of the earth, and all that. It already compared us to that. So I'm showing you the correlation of why he's using this analogy. Verse 9, my heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Listen to this. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. You understand? He's liking the other nations as the beasts of the field that's coming to devour what? The children of Israel. Let's get some more. Give me 1 second. There we go. So let's get Ezekiel 34. We're going to start at 5 and read through 6. Ezekiel 34, read Ezekiel chapter 34, starting at verse 5, reading down. And they were scattered. Who was scattered? Who did we read will be scattered to the one end of the earth to the other? The children of Israel. And they were scattered because there is no shepherd. There it is again, likening us to another animal. Only, a shepherd. A shepherd isn't an animal. A shepherd is actually the leader of sheep. But again, that's still comparing us. So we're about to get into it. He's about to compare us to those animals. And they were scattered because there is no shepherd, a leader of sheep, and they became meat to all the beasts of the field. when they were scattered. So when we got scattered to the four corners of the earth, guess what? We were meat to all the beasts of the field, meaning what? Now that we have assimilated into the American society, guess what? America has eaten us up and thrown us out. Is that not the reality of the life we live here? I mean, we started off with 350 years of slavery. I don't understand how much more of meat we could be. I mean, they started off letting us know we didn't mean much. Then and only then, once they made millions upon billions upon trillions of dollars off our hard labor and work, which we didn't get paid a dime for, then and only then did they say, well, maybe we'll let you work for pennies on the dollar. To this day, most of us, over 90% of us, are still doing it. Yeah, sure. There's some that, make the six figures and up and all that, and that's good. And I understand that every woman in the world only wants that. But the reality is, most of us have been meat for the beasts of the field. That's the reality. Let's keep reading. Meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. Verse 6. Listen to this. My sheep. There it is again. My sheep. Now he's likening us to sheep. My sheep wandered through all the mountains and upon every high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them. Therefore, ye shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. So he's letting you know, he's comparing us to sheep. And he says, we wandered through all the mountains. Mountains is compared to the governments, essentially the governing bodies that rule each nation. You understand? We go to all these different nations, wanting help, wanting this, go to your government, your local government body, wanting this, that, and the third. And most of the time we get little to no help. That's just the reality. And upon every high hill means it's no different than looking at like Beverly Hills or, look, I ain't been there, so I don't know. But all those Aspen, those rich places that only the rich go to, that's essentially what that's talking about when it talks about every high hill, meaning those high class places, things of that sort. We try to assimilate in that and think that we're going to be accepted differently there because they see us that, no, we still just meat for the beasts of the field. At the end of the day, they don't look at us no different. But that shows you that when it talks about the beasts of the earth, it's not just talking about actual food. It's talking about the nations that devour us and use us and abuse us. You understand? And do much worse things to us. That's what it's speaking about in Acts chapter 10. So now let's get back to Acts 10. Remember, precept upon precept. So it says, verse 12, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts and creeping things, and fowls of the air. We were compared, and the other nations were compared to all those things. Verse 13. Now listen to this. And there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill, eat, or unalive, eat. So now you got the Lord telling Peter to unalive and eat. Now, Peter didn't understand this, but what he was saying was go conquer our people from these other nations, meaning go amongst the beasts of the field that's trying to use us for meat, this, that, and the third. You go get our people, meaning like killing it. I'm doing it. Like, man, like if we was playing a basketball game, say, hey, LeBron killed last night. That kind of kill. It wasn't so much. Yes, he did say in the metaphor, kill, eat, but Peter took it literal. It was metaphorical. It was more of a, LeBron killed last night, meaning like, go do the work you do and kill in doing that work and devour. Or like if, a mixtape artist say, I devoured that beat. I ate that up. That's essentially what this was here in verse 13. And there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill, eat. But then Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. This is how you know it wasn't literal. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, what God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. This was done thrice. The vessel was received up again into heaven. So he had this conversation over and over again with Peter. Peter wasn't getting it. But so it says, what God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. What did God cleanse? Well, what did he prophesy that he was going to cleanse? Let's get it. Jeremiah 33. Jeremiah 33. Let's get it. Jeremiah 33. Sorry, y'all, I need some air. Like 10 minutes and get it cracking again. Jeremiah 33, verse 7. Give me one sec. I can share screen. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Cool. So, what did God cleanse? Jeremiah 33, starting at verse 7. I will cause the captivity of Judah and captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first. Verse 8, listen, and I will cleanse them from all their iniquity. So listen to this. He's saying, I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return where? Home, Israel. And I will build them as at the first. He's going to make that great mighty nation like we were supposed to be in the first place. Verse 8, and I will cleanse them from all their iniquity. Meaning we're going to be cleansed from being an African American. We're going to be cleansed from being a Mexican. We're going to be cleansed from being a so-called Native American. We're going to be cleansed from all these things in all these ways. Thus saith the Lord. And we're going to return back to being the house of, the house of Israel, with Judah and Israel. We're going to become one. And I will, and I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me. And I will pardon all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. So now we can see in the Bible, precept upon precept, we can see that the house of Israel and the house of Judah, northern and southern kingdom, we can see that they were cleansed, or they were prophesied to be cleansed. We can see they were prophesied to be cleansed. Can we see where any other nation was prophesied to be cleansed? I know not. But just in case that ain't enough, the scripture says by 2 or 3 witnesses, let everything be established. Let's get another witness. Who was meant to be cleansed? Ezekiel 36. Let's get it. Who was meant to be cleansed? What is Ezekiel 36 going to say? Is he going to back up that story, or he going to say something else? Never know. Let's see. Ezekiel 36, starting at verse 24. Ezekiel 36, starting at verse 24. Let's read. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 24. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. Sounds familiar? Verse 25. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. There it is again, letting the children of Israel know they will be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. 26. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. What do I want to go to? 29. I'm on side of Christ. Verse 27. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. For anybody that was doubting that was the children of Israel, because of Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20, if you've been following along, you now know that this is indeed the children of Israel. Because he says, I will cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments. Who did he say he gave his statutes and his judgments to? Who did he say they have not known his judgments? Every nation outside the children of Israel, none of those nations know his judgments. So now why would he switch it up? He's not. What he's saying is we fell away from that, but now there's going to come a day, he's prophesying there's going to come a day where he gives us that back to want to serve him and obey him. And that's what we're getting to. And in the UPK, you're seeing it come alive today. Verse 28, ye shall dwell in the land that I gave your fathers, ye shall be my people, and I will be your God. 29, I will also save you from all your uncleanliness, and I will call for the corn, and I will increase it and lay no famine upon you. So there it is again, the Lord telling the children of Israel, he's going to cleanse us. But guess what? He hadn't did it yet. So now when we get to Acts 10, guess what? What we can say is Cornelius and his household are the first ones to go through this cleansing. They are the first ones to go through this cleansing. But remember, they're still of the house of Israel. All right. Verse 17. Now, while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent for Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate. All right, so now let's skip down. Let's go to 21. Going to Acts chapter 10, verse 21. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius and said, behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? 22. And they said, Cornelius, the centurion, which we already understood what it is, a just man and one that feareth God. There it is again. So now we got a just man. Let's see what a just man is. Maybe a just man is a heathen. Maybe a just man is a heathen. I don't know. Let's see. Genesis 6 and 9. Genesis 6 and 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generation. Noah walked with God. Guess what? Noah is a part of that seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's their forefather. So he's a direct forefather. And Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are direct descendants of Noah. They're a part of the chosen seed line. And guess what? Noah was a just man. But y'all might say, see, he wasn't an Israelite. No sweat, no sweat. Let's get it. Ezekiel. Let's get Ezekiel 18. Ezekiel chapter 18. We'll go to verse 5. Ezekiel 18, verse 5. It reads, again, if you got any questions or comments, put them in the chat. Ezekiel 8, verse 5. But if a man be just, right, a just man. So here we go. We're going to break it down for us. But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right. So if a man going to be just, he's going to do what's lawful and right. It always comes back to the law, statutes, right? Always. Again, like, share, and subscribe if you're following along. I appreciate it. Even if you just come in here, like, share, and subscribe and do your thing, it's greatly appreciated. But that's what we got to understand. If a man be just, he do that which is lawful and right. That's a just man. That's a perfect man, right? That's a devout man. All of these represent somebody that's an Israelite that keeps the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's keep reading. Verse 5. But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, verse 6, and have not eaten upon the mountains, see, there it is again, and have not eaten upon the mountains. Now, what did I tell you the mountains were? It'll make more sense if you understand or remember. I told you the mountains are the governments of these other nations. So you're not eating upon those mountains. You're not following their ways. You understand? The government of today will tell you it's okay to be a part of the alphabet community. But the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob said, la. The government of the day tell you to vote. Vote for a man that's never understood your situation. But the God of the Bible of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob said, la. You understand? That's why it says in verse 6, it had not eaten upon the mountains. Truth be told, that's what Eve did. She ate upon the mountains. She went to those other nations and took a part of their culture and took a part of whatever that serpent was, which was a man. Whatever nation he was a part of, she partook in it. And whatever he had her partaking in was against the Lord. Verse 6. It's a lot. Verse 6, and have not eaten upon the mountain, neither has lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither has defiled his neighbor's wife, neither have come near to a menstruous woman. All these are kept in the law. All that's in the law. Verse 7, and have not oppressed any, but have restored to the debtor his pledge, and have spoiled none by violence, have given his bread to the hungry, and have covered the naked with the garment. Verse 8, he that have not given forth upon usury, neither have taken any increase. That right there lets you know this is only dealing with Israelites. How do we know this is only dealing with Israelites? It says, he that have not given forth upon usury. You cannot deal with usury upon Israelites. But guess what? In the law that we are supposed to be keeping, that the just man must which is lawful and right, in that law, guess what? You are allowed to give usury to any other nation. All the other nations, you can do usury. You can put usury upon those other nations, but guess what? You cannot do usury within your own nation. You understand? So therefore, this lets me know this is only dealing with Israelites, because if not, we got a contradiction. But I know there's no contradiction because we understand what he's talking about. All this is dealing with Israelites. I will not use usury upon my brother. If he borrowed $10, guess what? He owes me $10. If a heathen borrowed $10, he owes me $20. That's all it's saying. But I cannot do that. If my brother give me $10, I can't charge him $20. It's that simple. But I can do that with the heathen. If anybody needs those precepts, let me know and I'll get them for you. They are in the law that the just man and the devout man must keep. Let's get more. Verse 8, and he that have not given forth upon usury, neither have taken any increase, that have withdrawn his hand from iniquity, that executed true judgment between man and man. Verse 9, have walked in my statutes and have kept my judgments. There it is again. We already understand that that's talking to Israel. Have walked in my statutes and have kept my judgments, to deal truly. He is just, he shall surely live, saith the Lord God. That is a just man. That is Israel. So, when you see just man, that's why it says Cornelius was the just man. Meaning he's an Israelite. Whenever you see the devout man or a just man, it's talking about an Israelite. We already broke it down 100 different ways. You don't agree? Let me know. I want to know where you going. Where you going off at? All right, let's bang this out. Where we at? Okay. All right, verse 22. And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man and one that fears God. A lot of precepts for fearing God. I'm going to just tell you now. I can give them to you if you want them, but all of them deal with Israelites. Exodus 1 and 17 and Exodus 1 and 21, Exodus 18 and 21, Leviticus 25 and 17, Leviticus 25 and 36, Deuteronomy 6 and 2, Deuteronomy 8 and 6, Nehemiah 5 verses 9 and 10, Nehemiah 7 verse 2, 2 Samuel 23 and 3. Anybody that want to check those out, feel free. I ain't gonna read through them just for time's sake, but all those will help you understand fear God. Fearing God, it's only protecting Israel. Sorry, I can't lie to you. It's only talking about Israel, not me. I'm just telling you. So if you want them, I'll give them to you. But all those I just said, they'll help you, you know what I'm saying, understand that fearing God, which is something that Cornelius was doing. This is how we know he's an Israelite. So let's see. One that fears God, and listen to this, in a good report among all the nation of the Jews. See? Why didn't he say all the people in the earth if he was just a good person in general? Because he ain't. Well, I ain't gonna say he's not. I don't know. But what I do know is he had a good report among all the Jews, all the nation of the Jews. Why? Because he was a Jew. He was an Israelite. That's why. That's why it matters. You understand? Let's keep going. And a good report among all the nations of the Jews, and was warned from God by an holy angel to send for thee into his house and to hear words of thee. Verse 23, then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them. And certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. 24, and the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, Cornelius waited for them and had called together his kinsmen and near friends. Verse 25, and as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him Listen to this. Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshiped him. We got to get it. We got to get it. So, fell down at his feet and worshiped. Oh, just to let you know, he was of a good report to all the nation of the Jews. If you need precepts for that, 2 Maccabees 14 and 37 and Acts 22 and 12 again. Read those two. They give you an understanding of who and what of being a good report is. But it even says it of all the Jews. So I don't understand why you don't understand that. But let's get this. So he essentially saluted and worshiped at Peter's feet. Let's see what that's about. First Chronicles 29 and 20. First Chronicles 29 and 20. This is the book of Chronicles, chapter 29, verse 20. And David said to all the congregation, now bless the Lord your God, and all the congregation blessed the Lord God of their fathers, and bowed down their heads, see, and worshiped the Lord and the King. See, they were worshiping the Most High, but they were also worshiping the King, which was a man. You understand? This man wasn't Christ at the time. They were worshiping the King, which was David at the time. So don't be shocked when he bowed down and worshiped. He wasn't a heathen giving praise to him. No, it was because he was an Israelite, he understood to bow down and worship. Because what did we say? Peter was a leader of the Jews at this time. So it's when you see a high ranking a man, you give him honor. And that's all he was doing. He was giving him honor. Let's get one more on that. Let's get Hebrews chapter 13. Let's get a little bit more understanding on that. Hebrews 13, verse 24. The book of Hebrews chapter 13, verse 24. And it reads, salute all of them that have the rule over you. Peter obviously had the rule over him. He understood that. That's why he dropped down and worshiped, because Peter obviously had the rule over him. See? Salute all of them that have rule over you, and all the saints, meaning you should do with all your brothers. They of Italy salute you. So that was a common thing amongst Israel. You understand? That we already knew that. I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't no heathen gonna bow down to an Israelite, especially when the heathen know that his people got them in captivity. That's not gonna happen. My people got you in captivity, but I'm gonna bow down to you. That's not happening. That's like the heathen that's gonna bow down to us in their captivity. That's not gonna happen. Now, don't get me wrong, we do get boot kisses, but this, in this sense, where we just walk somewhere and then they just gonna bow to us just out of nowhere, no, that ain't happening. That ain't how they go. So let's keep going. Where we at? Acts 10. Back to Acts 10. One second. There we go. Acts 10. Right. So that's 25. So 26. But Peter took him up, saying, stand up, I myself also am a man. Essentially, Peter was being a humble brother. Like, man, hey, man, I'm a man too. I understand what you're doing, no sweat, but hey, I'm a man too. 27. And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. So he found many of the Israelites that were Gentiles that come together. 28. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. So now this is where you get them. See, all that other stuff was cute, but how you gonna get over this, right? Well, I'm gonna just keep it lawful. Show me the law that says we couldn't come unto a man of another nation. That's how I'm gonna cut that. Show me the law that says, see, you can't come unto them. Show me that. I would love to see that law. Show me where it says that as an Israelite, you cannot come to one of another any other nation. How do we deal with other nations? We got laws. In the law, there are laws for how we deal with other nations. So obviously, that wasn't a law. You understand? It wasn't. Makes no sense. I'm gonna tell you how it makes sense. So we understand it ain't a law for us to come to other nations. We dealt with other nations in plenty of ways. That was never an issue. Let's get the true understanding of what he was saying. Hosea 4:17. Hosea 4:17. It's the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Salaki. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. See that? Scripture is saying Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. They said the northern kingdom, they joined to idols. Leave them alone. Don't even deal with them no more. This is what he was speaking on. How they are essentially another people now. They serving other gods. They are not us no more. Leave them alone. And guess what? The Sadducees and the Pharisees, they upheld that. They kept that. Meaning, if you weren't living amongst them and you were doing your own thing somewhere else, you weren't acknowledged as a Jew. You weren't acknowledged as us, no matter what. So the Sadducees and the Pharisees, they kept that. But now God is showing Peter something different through that vision that he had. So this is where it comes from, though. Hosea 4:17. Let's get some more. Jeremiah 3:8. Let's get some more. Jeremiah 3:8. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 8. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I have put her away. See, given her a bill of divorce. See, yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. So this is letting us know that Israel was backsliding and committed adultery, and the Lord put her away. Meaning, when you put away, you go away from here. Put her away is almost, it's a divorce. Meaning, if you have a divorce with somebody, they no longer live with you. Y'all no longer one. Y'all are done. You understand? You're no longer one. Y'all become that two separate parts again. This is what the Sadducees and Pharisees upheld up until Peter had that vision. Peter had that vision, and he said, no, this ain't a thing no more. No, all of us are one again. No, it's time for all of us to come home because all of us them fell short. Now it's time to bring Israel back, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. That's what this so-called, you know how it is a law. Let's go back to it. So when we see in Acts 10, let me see. So when we see in Acts 10 and 28, where he says, you know, that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation, that's what he's talking about. Because of the whole northern kingdom and any Jew that was living outside of Israel was considered what? Another nation. Another people. And up until this point, that's how it had always been for thousands of years. Up until this point, that's in Israel, it was like that. But I know for us, it's hard to see because we got 1,000 years on the other side. Meaning all people can be one people, this, that, the third, a mixed match, a melting pot, and all that. That was not reality a couple thousand years ago. What, 2000? So we'll say a couple thousand years ago. Because for the couple thousand years previous to that, this is the reality. Meaning, for Israel, if you lived amongst another nation or dwelt amongst another nation, or you was kicked out of our nation, you were considered a Gentile. You were considered another people, even though you were the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because we knew one thing: you were not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. And the Sadducees and the Pharisees upheld that. But what made them wrong is even they were going off themselves. So for them to uphold that law and tell our brothers and our sisters, y'all can't come back because y'all out there breaking the law, and they're here, they are in the land, ruling the land, but still breaking the law, that didn't got no justice. So therefore, this is why the Lord gave Peter this trance, or this vision, not a trance, but a vision essentially. He gave him this vision, and Peter looked at it like eating unlawful things. And this is why he says it's an unlawful thing to come to whatever. He's about to have the realization. All of it's about to make sense to Peter in a second. So he has a vision of eating unlawful things, but those unlawful things weren't actual other nations of people. Those were his people and other nations living amongst those nations as it was prophesied in the beginning. But he didn't see this. See, that's why the vision, like I said, the vision had the four corners of the earth, and it gave the beasts of the field and all that. It said, Peter, unalive, eat. You understand? Like, it's time to go do this work. And that's what it is. And it started for him, we'll say, it started here with Cornelius. Cornelius is the first brother to come back to his nationality and come back to living those law, statutes, and commandments. Law, statutes, and commandments, not only that, but come back to being accepted for his true nationality. Like we do that here now in the UPK, but he was the first brother to go through that. That's all that is. What Cornelius went through is what I went through, is what every brother and sister in the UPK went through. Because we were all living as probably African Americans, or Latinos, or this, that, and the third, Puerto Ricans, Colombians, Native Americans, whatever. We was living as that. But then we came back to the Lord, came back to our nationality. And in coming back to our nationality, we naturally came back to the law, statutes, and commandments. That's all. That's all this is. Let's keep reading. Where we at? All right. But God has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean. So Cornelius, verse 30, and Cornelius said, 4 days I was fasting. Let's skip down. Right? Alms. Right? So down right now, Cornelius is giving him the breakdown. He's giving him the rundown of what's going on with him. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. All right. Verse 34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth I perceive that God is no respecter of persons. See? God is no respecter of persons. See, God loves everybody. He's no respecter of persons, brother. Ain't that what y'all want to say? I know. Well, let's get it. God is no respecter of persons, right? That's what it says. God is no respecter of persons. We sticking with that, right? Okay. Precept time. Exodus 2 and 25. God is no respecter of persons. Let's read this. Exodus 2 and 25. And God looked upon the children of Israel. I'll read that again. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. Well, Peter said he's no respecter of persons. But here in Exodus, it says he had respect unto Israel. So now is the Bible contradicting itself? Or maybe that doesn't mean what you think it means. Let's see if this all fits. If we say it means what I say it means. I say it means he is no respecter of persons within the nation of Israel. Meaning he has respect to all Israel. But within Israel, he doesn't look at any brother as above any brother in Israel. Or any sister as above any sister in Israel. That's what that means. I bet that makes a lot more sense than whatever your pastor told you. Because that contradicts each other. We're just talking about he's no respecter of persons to everybody on earth now. He loves everybody. Okay, but then I can read where he says he looked upon the children of Israel and had respect unto them. So is there no respect of persons to nobody, or does he have respect unto Israel? Let's get some more. That's Exodus 2 and 25. Let's go to 2 Kings 13 and 23. 2 Kings 13 and 23. And it reads, this is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 13, verse 23. And the Lord was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them, and had respect unto them. See? Because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast he them from his presence as yet. There it is again. He has respect unto the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Who are they? The children of Israel. That's 2 times I can see he said he had respect unto them. Then we get to Peter, and he says he's not a respecter of persons. I think it means what I say it means. It can't mean what your Christian pastor said, because then that makes the Bible a hypocrite. We should just throw it all away. But the Bible isn't a hypocrite. The understanding that religion gave to us is a hypocrite. That's why we got to throw that away. Let's get to it. I told you we was going to come out with it today, baby. All right. So 34, then Peter opened his mouth and said, of the truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons, meaning within the nation of Israel, if you're the king, The king and the most lowly, poorest person in Israel, God doesn't respect neither one any more than the other. Meaning they both need to keep the law, statutes, commandments, and they both need to do their duties according to whatever their duties are. It's very simple. So that's why it would make even more sense, because for the Israelite that's a Gentile, they would think, yeah, I can come back, but I'm not going to be looked upon as the people that's been in the land forever. No, you're going to be looked at just as much or just as less as them. Whatever the situation is, we are a nation of people. We are all one in the Lord's eyes. So whether you're a Gentile coming back to this truth or you've been in this truth from the day you was born, there God is no respecter of persons. It's that simple. Let's keep reading. Verse 35. But in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. Why is it in every nation? Because remember, the four corners of the earth, remember, we're going to be spread from one end of the earth to the other. No matter what nation that child of Israel is coming out of, no matter what nation that child of Israel is coming out of, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is going to be accepted with him. Remember, the way you coming from Asia, Africa, any of the North, Central, South America, Russia, anywhere else, Ireland, I don't care, the Netherlands, I don't care, anywhere you coming from, as long as you work, as long as you fear him, fear God, and you work righteousness, you're gonna be accepted with him. That's all it is. But this is still only to the nation of Israel. How do I know this? Well, let's read the next verse. Verse 36, the word which God sent unto the children of Israel. If you don't believe anything else I said, you got to believe that, right? This is the word that the Lord sent unto the children of Israel. Preaching peace by Yahweh, Jesus Christ. He is Lord over all. So, I mean, I could keep reading, but I think that pretty much covers it. You understand? I mean, good Lord. We don't want over, being an unlawful thing, salute and worship, the good report, respect of persons, fear God, just men, the four corners, who he clean, the devout man, what a centurion is, the beast of the field. You don't understand this Peter story by now. Lord be with you. Of course, if you got any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat. Hit us up at any time. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. These scriptures is what we do. With that, we're gonna close it out. I'm a priest and officer of 1,000 Yahweh Thumb of the I.S.U.P.K. We teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans according to the Bible. With that, I say, Shalom. Peace, Israel.